Hotep brothers and sisters, this is RBG Street Scholar again, and today I want to build on the conversation that we had a couple of days ago with regards to where we go from here in terms of our whole re-Africanization and education process. And what I want to do today, quickly, because we're only allotted a short period of time here on YouTube, is I want to talk to you about worldviews, definitional systems, or what might be referred to as conceptual frameworks. I'm going to talk about the European worldview, definitional system, and conceptual framework versus the traditional African American worldview, definitional system, and conceptual framework. Recognizing that traditional African in America worldview grew out of our traditional African value system. So we're talking about values. And it is because it is your values that come out of your conceptual framework, your worldview, your definitional system, that dictates your behavior. So we're going to do a compare and contrast. If I said to you, on the one hand, here we have the European worldview, and on this side we're going to have the African, the traditional African in America and African worldview and definitional system. European, I, me, mine. African, we, ours, us. European, individualism. African, collectivity. European, competition. African, cooperative. European, materialism. African, spiritualism. European, violence and greed. African, peace and harmony. European, man versus woman. African, the complementary dualism of man and woman. European, man versus nature. African, man in harmony with nature. So that when I say I, me, mine, when I say competitiveness, when I say individualism, when I say violence and greed, when I say materialism, when I say man versus woman, when I say man versus nature, you don't really know whether I'm talking about the dope game that's on the corner or whether I'm talking about corporate America. Because I'm actually talking about both. Because the dope game on the corner is nothing more than a microcosm of corporate America. So that when you pursue an education in a system that has as its worldview, as its conceptual framework, the aforementioned values, then it causes, as far as we as an African people are concerned, a cognitive dissonance and self-alienation that results in all of the chaos and turmoil that you see in our communities. Malcolm used to call it white's disease. It has all of these people who are, you see online now, posing as if they're doing something to help the people, when really what they're trying to do is help themselves. It has them drinking haterade. In other words, they are interested in nothing, no kind of cooperation with you, because they doing their own thing. Black to the future. They don't. In other words, that's what I was saying before. We're gonna free ourselves collectively. Practicing individualism is what's in their mind. And so what they need to do, a lot of them, is they need to read a book. They need to be students before they try to be teachers, is what it is. But the reason that these kinds of things happen is because of who we are and the ahistorification process and the inferioritization process that we were taken through. In other words, historically, the white man was the master and we were the slaves. And so in that master-slave dialectic, the white man was socio-materially superior. And so that what wound up happening is we transformed a socio-material superiority into seeing the white man as moral, spiritually, and in our psychology, seeing him psychologically as superior. So because everybody in human nature is people want recognition and validation, we end up figuring that the way that we can arrive is all we have to do is get material. That's why you see a brother living in the projects and he's driving a Cadillac. He's not driving a Cadillac because he can afford a Cadillac or because he want a Cadillac, but he want the other slaves to see him in a Cadillac. You see? Because that's all we do as slaves, is we watch the other slave and try to compete against the other slave in order to outdo the other slave. And so it's the same thing that you see going on now, online with folk. And that's why I say they need to read a book. And so that the pivotal word, if we are ever, as a collective, going to change our condition such that we will have independence and autonomy, is sacrifice. In other words, one time I think I said to you before, in order to be a true revolutionary, you have to be willing to eat rat meat. You see, if you have the latest microwave and the latest big screen TV and the latest ABC, XYZ, and you working in a system where the monopoly capitalists are the ones that control the means of production, and you are working from them, in order to keep and maintain your microwave, you're going to have to bow down. And you're going to bow down too. But suppose you didn't have the big screen TV and the microwave and the big car. You would be freer. You see? So it's sacrifice. And I don't just tell people things that I don't do myself. You see, I'm a medical doctor. I practice clinical medicine. I practice academic medicine. I practice research medicine. I mean, I've been a physician since 1984. And carried out grand rounds and here in Atlanta, Morehouse School of Medicine, and Department of Surgery, Department of Psychiatry. I teach doctors how to be doctors. And so, but at the same time, I don't work in medicine. You say, well, why did you give that up in order to do this? And the people won't even donate $1. Because I'm not doing it for the people. I'm doing it for the yet to be born. You see, because the reason that I was able to become a physician is because somebody sacrificed before I was born. You see? And until we take that attitude, we're spinning our wheels. We're moving on a revolving wheel. And the wheel is just moving faster. We're not going to never leave the spot that we're standing in. So, in summary, with my time running out, there are two things. There's sacrifice, and there is the practice of the African worldview, definitional system, and conceptual framework. I am because we are, and because we are, therefore I am. I'll holler at you.